Hi everybody, this is a training video for how to use the scheduler feature in PT Practice Pro. The first thing you're going to do to get into your scheduler page is you have to click on the schedule tab, and then you'll again have to click on scheduler, this icon here, and this will pull up the facility schedule. So I'm in a test therapist right now, so there's nothing in this schedule, so this is kind of what a blank schedule will look like. First I'm going to show you how to add a patient into the schedule. But actually, before that, what we need to do, whenever you are going to look at your schedule or you're trying to add a new patient or doing anything in here really, it's good to just keep an eye on what day automatically pulls up. In my experience, I've found that PT Practice Pro tends to default to open up whatever was last open. So for example, if yesterday the last thing you did in the scheduler was to check what was happening 2 weeks from now, then that week that you looked at is going to be the first thing that pulls up. So if you're trying to now see what is going on today, you're going to have to change it here. So you'll click on this calendar icon, and then you can select which day, and that'll pull up the week. Or if you're viewing it in just days, which I'll show you under view options, then you can click which day you want to look at. And you can also do that if you know you just want to go one over. You can click this, and that'll pull you over to the next week or day. Because right now we're looking at it in weeks, so it'll be in weeks. So that's how you get to the day that you would like to look at. Once you are in the correct week or day, then you'll need to choose, you'll hover your cursor over whatever time you want to create an appointment for. So let's say I want to create an individual appointment Monday, June 8th at 8 a.m. You're going to bring your cursor over that spot, and you're going to right click. And then you'll have a few options. This first one, schedule patient, that's what you're going to click on if you want to schedule an individual appointment. Schedule new patient you're not really going to use because the patient's information is already going to be in PT Practice Pro, so it's always going to be an existing patient. And the last thing you can do is block time, which I'll show you in a little bit. But first, let's schedule a patient. So this will pull up. You're going to have to type in, it's usually best to look by their last name, but if you put in their first name, that usually works too. And then a list will come up with anything that has this search term in it. I want to use this patient, so I'm going to click select here. Then a few things will come up. Some of this you don't have to worry about, like the date and time you probably will not need to change since you already are in the day and time that you wanted to begin with. But if for some reason you click the wrong thing, you could change it here too. You will need to pay attention to the type. This is important because you can choose what type of session it's going to be. This matters. One reason that this matters is that these are color-coded for where you will be. For example, therapy gym is going to be green, therapy in a room is going to be red, and EI home visit will be blue. And that will indicate what spaces are available so other therapists can look at the scheduler and see, oh, there's going to be 3 other kids in the gym. I better go use a room. So yeah, you're going to select what kind of session it's going to be. So I'll just keep it on therapy for gym. The other thing you're going to have to pay attention to is the case. So this matters from a billing perspective. I'm a PT, and so I need to put it under this case for PT. Otherwise, it can mess the billing up when you go to submit your charges. So those are really the main 2 things you need to pay attention to is what type it is, and then you have to select the correct case. So I'm going to hit save. Once all the information is correct, once you're ready to schedule the appointment, you hit save, and then it should pop up in my scheduler right there. You can adjust the time. If you put this in and you're like, oh, no, wait, it's supposed to be 8:30 to 9:30, you can click and drag, and you can just move it up and down in your schedule like that. So that's kind of nice that you don't have to start over again. If you want to delete it altogether, maybe you put the wrong patient name in or something like that, you can click this little X, and then it'll be gone. I'm going to add that back in again just so we can see how it looks with different kinds of different types. So I'm going to select my case for PT again because I'm a PT, and I'm going to keep that therapy gym, and I'll click save. Just to show you kind of what I mean with the color coding, I'll put in another one. And this will show you, this is nice that it's showing you, if your patient that you're trying to put an appointment in has an appointment that day, and that means with you or with any other therapist at CTS that day, it's going to sort of alert you that this patient is already in the system. And you can just click yes and say that's fine. But it's just kind of nice that it draws your attention to that. So now it's for this new time because I hovered over this 9 o'clock spot when I right-clicked. And I'm going to show you what it looks like if you do therapy room. And now it's red. When you have an appointment already created, I'm going to show you what you need to do if your patient cancels. So you need to have an existing appointment already. So if you need to create an appointment and then cancel it, you can do that. Usually it's going to be already existing in the system, and then you'll cancel it from there. So for example, let's say I have this appointment set up for this patient Monday at 8 a.m. and I find out that they're canceling. What you'll do is you'll right-click in the existing appointment, and then this new drop-down menu will pop up, and there's different options of things you can do from here. So since I'm showing you a canceling, I'll do that for now. There's different codes for if you are canceling, or if they're canceling, or if they're canceling with less than 24-hour notice. That's why there's these different cancellation codes. And then there's also a no-show for if they just didn't show up. So the no-show looks brown. That little brown bar indicates that they didn't show up. And then a cancellation will be a red bar like that. It's important to either cancel or no-show depending on what your patient did, because if you don't, then the front office, they're going to get an alert at the end of the week that this appointment existed, but your billing has not been submitted for it. So they're going to email you and ask you to submit your billing. So make sure that you put a cancellation in, and then you won't have that problem. And like I showed you before, you can just click this X out if you just accidentally entered the appointment and it wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. So there's that. And then another thing you can do, so I just right-clicked again on the appointment. I wanted to show you that there's a few things you can do in addition to that cancellation from this appointment. So you can enter into your documentation from here. If you want to, if you are looking at a previous appointment, you can look at your documentation from there. Or if this is for today and you'd like to start it, you can also enter it from here. There's other videos that I've created that show you how to document otherwise, but this is just one way that you could do it. So just showing you that there. And so this, just to let you all know, this is how to add an individual appointment, which can be useful to you if just for 1 week your patient is coming at a different time and you just want to throw it in real quick. If you have set up a time with a patient that, okay, we're going to do Mondays at 8 a.m. for the rest of the year, you're not expected to add them all individually. What you'll do for that is you'll just email Mary or Brenda and ask them to put in an ongoing appointment. And they can do that for every other week, or they can do it for every week at any given time. So you're not expected to go through every single week and add this in like this. You'll just ask Mary and Brenda, and they have a feature where they can add it all at once. So that's kind of nice. So then the next thing I'm going to show you is how to block time, which is very similar to what we just did. So you're going to right-click on whatever spot. So let's say I want to do it Tuesday at 8 a.m. I'm going to right-click here, and then I'll click block time. And then there's a few different, this doesn't really change that much about it, like it doesn't change the color like it did with these. This is just like a little note to indicate why the time is blocked. So for example, I worked 2 days a week in the school, so I couldn't have any clinic clients at that time. So I would just put out of office. If you're on vacation, you could put that, etc. There's all these different reasons why. So let's just put out of office, and then I worked for NIA on those days, so I added a little description there. And then you can also change the time here. So let's say it's from 8 to 4. I don't want any patients from 8 to 4. Then you can scroll down and select 4 p.m. You can also just type it in here. Just make sure that you change the AM to PM if needed. And then you'll hit save. And then this big gray bar will show up. And you can also, once this is created, just like you could click and drag these, you can also click and drag the block time if you want to adjust it up or down. So that's how you block time. And then the last thing I'm going to show you, I mentioned before that you can view the schedule of multiple therapists. How you do that is you just click on this view options here. This will, what you can do if you want to see the, if you're at the clinic and you want to see, oh, I wonder if there's going to be a room available at a certain time. you can click this checkbox and it'll check all of the therapists that are in PT Practice Pro. And then you'll click on this icon that will show you what's going on for just one day. I'm not going to click that here because it's going to pull up a bunch of patient names, and out of compliance with HIPAA, I'm not going to put that in the video. But just to let you know, you'll click on that and it'll show the schedule for every therapist for one day. It's not going to let you look at every therapist for the whole week because it's just too many columns. It doesn't really fit on the screen, so it won't let you do that. Another thing you can do is if you know you're just curious about like one other therapist and if they're going to be in the gym at the time, you can just select some other therapist and see what their schedule is. That would help just keep it a little bit less cluttered. But just so you know, that's how you do that. I really use this one of two ways. I either view my own schedule for the week, which is the view that we have right now, or I'll look at everybody's schedule for one day if I am wondering how many people are going to be at the gym at one time. So that's how you do that. And then really the last thing is just all these little icons here. To be honest, I don't really use any of them. I use Scheduler to get into Scheduler, and I use View Options to do just what I showed you. These, I believe, will just change what hours appear. These hours here, which hours are going to appear on the scheduler. So if you just want to see morning or just want to see afternoon, this will just kind of change how it's like set up on your screen. So it's really just cosmetic, those things. So you can play around with those, see if any of those are useful to you, but you can really get by without them. I've found that I haven't really used them too much. So that's pretty much it. I showed you how to add an appointment, how to add different kinds of appointments for different rooms, how to block time, how to change your time by clicking and dragging, right-clicking to cancel, or entering your documentation from there, how to change the date that you're looking at, and how to view the schedule for multiple people, and how to block time. So that's pretty much what you need to know to use the scheduler. Thanks for listening.